Chapter 3 Training. That concludes today's training and puts another mission under your belts, spoke Kakashi. You've all improved, but Naruto, you need to. I know, uh, increase my chakra control. Naruto cut off with a growl before smirking. I've got the feeling that I'll be getting much better soon. Baka, screeched the howler monkey. Show Sensei more respect. She rolled up her sleeves as if to look intimidating. To her and everyone else's surprise, he just looked bored. Are we done, Sensei? He asked, still bored. I need to go. Yes, he answered, never looking away from his book. As Naruto turned to leave, he heard an arrogant voice of the Uchiha. What does a dope like you need to do? He was cut off. Hang around those whores of yours? Shut up, Emo, he snapped, and don't call them whores. They're better than any woman you'll ever get. If any. If any. The way you turn down fangirls, Naruto, you need to be more respectful to your teammates, spoke Kakashi into his book. Yeah, you should know your betters. I can't stand this. Goodbye, cruel world, Naruto shouted. Let boss deal with them on his own, he thought. He grabbed a kunai and impaled himself. He couldn't deal with them any longer. He went up in smoke. A shadow clone, since when, they thought. Naruto was excited. Today was the day that things changed. It was the day that he started getting proper training with his new senseis. He had gone to the Hokage and told them that he had forgave the kunoichi. After a few minutes of discussing everything, he agreed to Naruto's terms. They had decided to train him in rotation so they could keep him up their duties. He would train with Anko and Yugi, and then Hana and Kurenai. The only downside was he had to wait for Denki to make his clothes. Since they were custom made, they take a while to be done. Until then, it's just me and Jumpsuit. The second most obvious was his team. They made my clone kill itself. On the upside to that was that he had been training all day. He was wearing the weights that Denki had sold him. They were 100 pounds each limb, and chasing that cat was a great workout with them. I just couldn't stand that Uchiha, always trying to be better. Time for my real training, he stated to himself. And then I can go get a few bowls of ramen. Now here he was at his training ground on his land towards he loved how the sound he loved how that sounded. He looked around and saw an open field. The only one that was there was the foxes who were playing with the foxes. Where are they? He thought. I know they aren't like Kakashi Sensei. He closed his eyes and relaxed as a smile appeared on his face. So that's your game, huh? Hello, Uncle Chan. He greeted over his shoulder where she stood silently with a kunai in hand. Yu-Gi-Oh! Sensei. Into a tree his second sensei dropped from it. How do you always know where we are, Foxy-kun? Asked Anko, impressed. And how come only Anko gets a Chan? Yugia asked. I've always known people were near me since I was little, he answered honestly. And the Chan asked in guided Yu-Gi-Oh. It doesn't seem fair. You didn't threaten to do horrible things to me with a snake if I called you son, he answered blankly. Well, now you call us Chan or Sensei, Genin, spoke Anko. That way my friends aren't jealous. On a serious note, stated a slightly blushing Yu-Gi-Oh. You may have been a little jealous, you say, to feel people. Yeah, it's used to hide from the mobs. When I was little, I've gotten a little better at it. Naruto, are you a censor? Asked Yu-Gi-Oh. She didn't want him to even think about those mobs. A what? He asked. They didn't cover that in class, asked Anko. A censor were ninjas that were best at tracking, even better than her clan. Not that they were going to admit it. That's something important. Warn they thought they warned you about it. Then they probably did, he answered. It was probably one of those days they kicked me out of class. How much have they neglected this kid? Were their collective thoughts. We need to do our best to make it up to him. Naruto, I want you to do me a favor, spoke Anko. I want you to focus and tell me where the foxes are. Looking around, he saw that they were gone. He relaxed his body and felt as if he could. Raising his hand, he pointed to the direction. Thames that way, he answered. They are moving towards us. They'll be here in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just as he predicted, they came bursting towards the woods. The kunoichi gave a smile of understanding. Well, Genin, you are a censor, spoke Hanko. We will try to train you in that as well. Truth be told, she didn't know what she was going to train him in. Impress us and we'll teach you a jutsu. Naruto, please make as many clones as you can. He did it without a question. As soon as the field was filled with 100 of Naruto's, that is a lot. I can make more if you want, he offered. He was proud at his clone skills. No, first thing, we need to work on your chakra control, stated Yu-Gi-Oh. First thing we'll do is tree climbing. Focus your chakra to a certain point and maintain it as you take a step. I've come up with a way to work on that. Your reflexes and entertain me, stated Anko sadistically. I don't like the entertain part, he stated fiercely. Where is this going, Anko-chan? Why do you have that smile? Why do you have that kunai? Dodge, she shouted at the top of her lungs, throwing a kunai directly at him. She frowned as she thought it was slow enough to dodge but fast enough for him to know she did it. I have a reputation. However, all he did was let it hit him in the arm. If it had been a real one, he would have had a horrible gash. That's what she was talking about, Naruto stated. clone or not, you just took a kunai to the arm. I have high pain tolerance, he stated. Sorry about that, that was my dog. Naruto-kun spoke a sad Yu-Gi-Oh! We know about the villagers, there's no need to hide anything from us. The villagers would often gang up and beat Naruto until he was physically broken, but he was never emotional. His birthdays were the worst of them. Instead of a beating, they would actually torture him. If it had happened so frequently that only birthdays were the ones that truly hurt. They stopped when he stated as a ninja training, but the damage has been done. That is why we that is why we two killed That's why we should kill two birds with one stone, spoke Yugi. Using your clones, you can work on chakra control. What does my clones have to do with this? He asked. And what will I be doing? The kunoichi frowned at this. What has Kakashi been teaching him? They knew he was neglected. Naruto's training was a bit ridiculous. Your clone's knowledge passes on into you, explained Yu-Gi-Oh! You can train faster in anything but not strength or speed or reflex. It was how most Anbu trained. That was with 2 or 3 or 4 clones. Naruto had much more. If a clone was destroyed, you would be able to get more stronger. But if a clone was destroyed, you won't get the memories. Now, dodge. This time the clones dodged good. Now I can begin having fun. Dodge. She is enjoying this a bit too much for my tastes, he thought. They decided to train together in another part of the field. It was difficult for Naruto to focus with Anko trying to kill him, especially since she liked to aim for what made him a man every single time. It was a sad day to be a clone. They will do that while we work on a few beginner kenjutsu, spoke Yu-Gi-Oh! Naruto, focus. I'm going to teach you the first Kaguya style, the first swords. She ordered, pick up that katana and hold it like so. She held it ready, a ready stance, but saw she was strained. Are you okay? She walked to him to get the type of weapon he was using and the dangers of self-harm from it. Unfortunately, Naruto, she couldn't had let the real. Unfortunately for Naruto, she wouldn't let the real one until he needed it. Can I take these weights off? He asked. The strain is getting to me. He had been wearing them all day, so she complied. No, she said after a minute of thinking. It's best if you keep them on to build more speed and force into your blows, she reasoned. She had been expecting him to protest or even groan. She was proud to see him only set himself for practice. What determination. Okay, Sensei, he answered. If you can drop the weights a bit, if you can drop the weights a bit if it gets to be too much, she offered. If you master these series, I'll teach you a kenjutsu technique. With the promise of a new jutsu, he was given new energy. She trained Naruto in a series of katanas. He even made a few clones watch himself. to see his errors. There was a lot, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Proudly stated that the most came from his exhaustion and mixed with the weights. As the sun began to set, Naruto ended his chakra control Kenjutsu practice, even though he didn't master the series of strikes. He made progress though. He did however master the tree walking technique. You did good. You just need to dispel the clone, spoke Anko. Hey clones, she called. As they turned to the source, they blushed as they were greeted with the sight of Uncle's bare chest. It took them a full 3 seconds to register it, and as they flew back in a massive nosebleed before dispelling. Sorry about that, I don't know what happened. Unfortunately, the strain of 100 clones dispelling at once was too much. It caused him to pass out on the spot. However, he did have a goofy smile and a trail of blood flowing down his nose. Uncle, that was too much, scolded Yu-Gi-Oh! Are you trying to turn him into a pervert? Hey, with that much stamina, I wouldn't mind, she answered truthfully, gaining a blush from her fellow kunoichi. Well, let's get him home, stated Yu-Gi-Oh! He'll love the surprise he finds when he wakes up. Will maybe give, maybe, well, maybe my gift, Uncle. When Naruto woke up, he found himself in his apartment. He was an extra hour. He had an extra hour until the team meeting began. Then an extra two before Kakashi arrived. Decided to get out of bed. He found slight difficulty. I must have trained harder than I thought. As he grabbed for ramen in his cabinet, he felt something off. Where's all my ramen? He found a note and two scrolls. Dear Genin, stop eating ramen. This is why you're so short. Here's some danko sealed in the first scroll. Just add chakra. You better eat it and love it. Also, don't even try that ramen stand. I paid them off so they wouldn't sell you for a week. P.S. You earned a second. P.P.S. I doubled your weights. P.P.P.S. Dodge. As soon as he read the last line, he tossed the scroll. No sooner than he did, a kunai flew out and lodged itself onto the wall, sealing a kunai. He thinks she is trying to kill me. Wait, she doubled my weight, reaching inside for the second scroll. He unraveled it. It was a jutsu and a small book. Sensor Nin and its mechanics. We found a book for the sensors at Denki's shop. Sunshine. High speed movement allows ninjas to move a short distance at near instant speeds. Enjoy. Forgetting all about the hunger, he headed towards the training ground. He wanted to impress his real senseis. Baka, why are you late? Cried the harpy. And what's with that smile? He wouldn't let them ruin this day. He would do his best to get through the day as fast as possible. I'm not late, Sakura. I beat Kakashi Sensei, he answered. Both were in shock. Not only had he said something illogical, he hadn't called her Stalker-chan like he normally would. Deciding not to get involved with them, he chose to sit away from them. An hour until he arrives. It's good time to work being on a sensor. After 20 minutes of reading, he closed his eyes and allowed himself to relax. He skipped right through to the how-to. As he focused, everything seemed to become more vivid than with his eyes open. He could feel everything from his teammates to insects crawling near him. He tried to extend it. The further away, the less vivid it became. It seems my range isn't far, but it's focused. After messing around with his abilities, he decided to read more and eat the Donko Onko packed for him. She made me suffer. She would make me suffer if it went to waste, he thought. As the smell of fresh Donko spread across the field, he felt his hunger kick in. At the first bite, he thought, not ramen, but close second. He sat back in peace, enjoying the book and food. Hey, Baka, give me one of those, howled the ace-shirted and pink-haired monkey. And just like that, my peace is gone. No, he answered. He wasn't giving up anything. He wasn't giving up anything given to him by one of his senseis. Not any of them. What? She asked. She began just by. She had just been declined something by Naruto. If it was hard to believe he was supposed to worship me. Yo, sorry I'm late. I got lost in the road of. What are we learning today, Sensei? Asked Naruto, cutting him off. He wasn't going to listen to another excuse. I can't teach you much until you increase your chakra control. Turning to his other students, Sasuke, I have a new technique for you. Sakura, I want you to watch Sasuke-kun train, she stated. If you don't train, you'll be weak, stated Naruto. Who are you? She screeched, I have Sasuke-kun to save me and then we'll get married, and he just tuned her out. Can I be dismissed? He asked. Not even waiting for an answer, he walked off. He doubted any of them heard him. He wanted to get some real training done. Hello, Hana-sensei, he said from his book. You can stop hiding, Kunoichi-sensei. I knew you were there the minute you came onto the field. Anko and Yu-Gi-Oh warned us about that, stated Kurenai, coming into view from her genjutsu. They never said it was so creepy. He continued Hana as she walked onto the field. If you want, I can stop it, he offered. No need, Kurenai stated. Now tell me, what genjutsu do you know? Hedge, he answered. And that's it, he finished. Sensei, can a person use genjutsu without a hand seal? Yes, but you need a medium, like your eyes or a sound, and better control in your Kurenai looked for the kindest way to phrase it. Could you teach me? He asked. To spare her. At least she cares enough to spare my feelings. I can only do a few myself, but maybe later. They began the lesson. As it turned out, Hana decided to teach Naruto's clones how to make storage seals. Kurenai did her best to teach Naruto some genjutsu. Naruto was in a bad mood. It had been 2 weeks and he couldn't learn his sensei's simplest genjutsu. His kenjutsu was going well. He didn't blame her. Far from it, Kurenai had spent hours trying to teach him and find the reason why he was having trouble. She even gave him a low-level scroll to practice. He blamed the fox inside him. Since one needed balanced chakra to do genjutsu, he couldn't learn. His and the fox's chakra were always fighting. The only reason he could do hedge was because control wasn't needed. He thought we're focused on that so long that he never noticed himself falling asleep. Mindscape. So my jailer finally decided to show up, stated a deep, gruff voice. What do you want? I want answers, he shouted, shocking the giant fox. Why are you ruining my chakra control? There's no fear in his question. There was only plenty of anger, but no fear. That that only enraged the fox. Hearing rearing the back, the fox let out a roar. That's enough to shake a village and knock people over. Naruto just stood and glared. Come closer, the fox ordered. Seeing no reason to fear the fox, he did it without hesitation. That enraged the fox as well. With the speed of With a speed of, well, a demon, the fox stabbed the giant claws at Naruto. They never made it to him, thanks to the bars stopping them just inches before his face. Naruto hadn't much. He hadn't even flinched at them. Damn you, boy, came another roar. Fear me, and I am the very stuff and nightmares are made of. Why should I? The blonde asked. Just give me control of myself. And why should I? Angered call. An enraged call. You've always preached about hard work, so go with that. Why are you ruining my life? He screamed. Well, known the fox, he spat. I don't fear you, and I want control, so I can continue my training. Ah, yes, your training. He commented on Naruto's tone like he didn't like how very fox-like of you. What do you mean by that? Naruto asked. He was hated, and we're going to. He was hating where this was going. Come on now, Genjutsu is a fox domain, he stated. A sword for claws, and you are already a trickster. Those are so I can get stronger, he stated, and they happily train me. How would you like even more help? The demon fox asked. Help in both of our training and more. What are you getting at, Fox? Naruto wasn't dumb, as he let on. He wouldn't be tricked so easily. Just a deal between host and his burden, the QB commented. It could be a benefit for both of us. I'm listening, he stated. The deal was simple. The deal is simple. I give you the means to take your skills to a whole nother level. The fox offered for a price. How would you do that? He answered, a bloodline. See that he Seeing that got the boy's attention, the fox continued. And I'll give you a few needed modifications. What do you want? It was worth listening to. 3 things, the fox stated. The first, since you won't give me my freedom, I want access to your senses. Second, I want you to spread fear in my name, he roared, before smiling cruelly. And finally, a little piece of your mind becoming mine. What? I could agree to the sense of, but why do I need to spread fear in your name? He asked. It would give the villagers more reason to hate me. It's not like they could hate you more than they do. The fox stated. I doubt it. I doubt they'll even try to like you. Why do you want them to fear me? It had been bugging Naruto for a while. That goes back before even I was a QB, he spoke. Memories days back when I was just an average, larger than normal, but average fox. If you weren't born a demon, how did you become one? He interrupted. Fear. From the very beginning, it was fear that gave me my power. The blood Katsuki then called me by my Regan, the terror of the legendary dozens of villagers. The body of the Katsune they called me. My region of terror was legendary. Dozens of villagers would fall to my claws until the time I was slain. It felt like I became something worse. The stuff of nightmares are made of. I became a demon. Since I was so feared, the fear brought me back as a demon, and the fun really began. Then why do you need me? Can't you escape by death? Because of the fourth Hokage, the beast roared. After I was sealed, people thought I was dead, so they lost fear. He continued, being dead isn't a problem, but being forgotten, now that's a bitch. I can't come back if nobody fears me. I can't come back if no one's afraid. That's why you need me, the blonde stated. Without fear, you're nothing. Yes, I need you. That had hurt him. You really got the body, and I've got the brain. So why do you need some of my mind? Do you honestly believe you can be cruel enough? It seemed to be an honest question. Do you think you can get enough the fear? Do you think you can get the amount of fear I need? The bloodline, what will it do? He asked, ignoring the question. The bloodline is called Fox Glare. It has two abilities. The first thing you can learn and use is any genjutsu you know. The second is trapping a person inside a genjutsu domain controlled by you just by eye contact, explained the demon. Through it, you can either hold or break as a long-lasting side effect. What is the drawback? He wasn't stupid. There was always a risk. You need to see the opponent or the genjutsu will run wild, the QB stated. If you use the genjutsu on anyone around, will be affect the same such as pain by the fire of drowning. Unless you're focused, the fox wasn't finished. Anyone better at genjutsu or smart or has a stronger will can defeat you at your own game. Taking a moment to think. It can also be turned off or hidden through genjutsu, so good luck hiding it. Anything else? You can detect genjutsu but not break it or copy it. The fox added, those are your own skills. And the modifications I would receive enhanced everything. The with slight fox features. The blonde, that blonde will be great. Cursed for elements. Taking another minute to think, I will also train you in a few techniques so your body sensing skills will be taken to another level. What's the catch to those? Increased level of bloodlust and cruelty. Deal. QB wanted to chuckle but wasn't foolish. The fox knew that there was so much as a cold smile could ruin the deal. Tear off the seal, the fox ordered, and prepare for pain. Tear off a tenth of the seal and prepare for pain. The fox ordered. Doing so, Naruto experienced something he hadn't felt since his childhood. Pain. He felt pain coursing through every part of him. It seemed to be focused behind his eyes and the center of his head. The fox constantly laughed. The fox's constant laughing wasn't helping. Damn it, Fox. He got out before the darkness claimed him. Real world. Jumping up Naruto sure wasn't getting back to bed. Damn, Fox. Well, I have an hour until the meeting. Get out of bed, Naruto noticed as he felt a light feather. He felt light as a feather. I guess I'll be increasing my weights again. He also noticed that he was at least a foot taller off the ground. He was a foot taller than usual. The changes. Walking towards the mirror, he eyed his reflection. He once sun-kissed the blonde's hair. Now carried traces of red highlights. His teeth were razor-sharp, fang-like. His blue eyes were the same, but his pupil now had slits. He couldn't help but give himself a few once over. I need something new, Donkey. Donkey told me he would be finished today. He tried dressing in his now too small clothes. When that didn't work, he decided to hedge himself into his regular self. Since mine isn't real, they'll never notice. Reassured that he dressed and left towards the leaf dragon. Hey, greeted Donkey. Hey, Naruto, greeted Denki. I wasn't expecting you until much later in the day. What are you doing here? Naruto asked. What are you doing here? Asked Naruto. Don't you have any employees to cover the night shift? Nope, I do everything using soldier pills. I can keep going, he explained. Denki, how many of those pills have you had? He asked. So I assume you're here for those clothing, he asked, ignoring the question. Yes, Naruto answered worriedly. Smiling sheepishly, Donkey grabbed one of his clothes, as they were standard black bamboo pants, a new pair of black steel-toed comfortable boots, a crimson red trench coat, similar to Uncle's, with black flames licking the bottom and the ends of the sleeves. In the center of the coat was a kanji. The kanji had Tsune's. The kanji stood for fox. The clothes even came with great features and added chakra that they'll grow to any size. Add chakra and they'll grow to any size, dry themselves, and keep their wearer warm. Great for extra chakra control. Okay, Donkey looked blank at the clothes were on the blonde. Naruto liked the clothes as much as he bought several sets. Usually this would be out of price range, but Donkey made him a deal. If he purchased all his ninja items from the leaf dragon, then everything was half off. Naruto, why do you have a hedge on? Denki asked, losing all humor. Deciding the jig was up, he dropped the disguise. The clothes instantly grew to him just as they were created for. Well, he seemed the blonde was nervous. How do I look? I can't have the only useful shop hate me. Donkey stared at the now red highlighted hair. He glazed when even and calculated. It made Naruto a bit uneasy as he stood there. You need something for your eyes, he spoke, to cover up the extra features. Have anything that could completely cut off my sight? He asked. I'm training to be a sensor, he revealed. Sure, pulling up a crimson cloth from somewhere. He had handed it to Naruto. It was from the material made from your stuff, created it just for you. Written on it, the kanji meant merge. As he tied the cloth, he decided to explore until his sensei arrived. Maybe I'll go to an empty training ground. He continued around and entered into a training ground. The area was littered with weapons, and the posts were horribly beaten, and powerful chakra signatures and two weaker ones. It was most useful. It was most unuseful to spy on my team. Came a voice from behind. Naruto acted on pure instinct, turning towards him, throwing a kick towards the source of the voice. He never connected with the leg. It was caught, the grip of his leg like iron. That was most unuseful. The source of the voice was a kid wearing a green spandex with orange leg warmers. He had an awful bowl cut, and good lord, are those his eyebrows? They look like caterpillars. How did you get behind me? Naruto asked. How come I couldn't sense your chakra? He felt out for it. I still can't feel it. He was tempted to take his cloth off to see if there was even anyone there. Even if a civilian level, I could feel it. Lee, what's going on here? Asked an older version with now double Lee. You have brought another one to the ways of youth. Not yet, sensei. Not yet, sensei, he yelled. But if I cannot convert as many as you do to the ways of youth, then I shall do 500 laps around the village, backwards on my hands. Lee, my student, the older version yelled. Your flames of youth glow brighter every day. Guy Sensei, Lee. Guy Sensei, Lee. Guy Sensei. Naruto didn't know what he was seeing, but he didn't want to know. The two looked like they were starting to hug, with his legs still in the middle. As they did it, a horrible sunset began to form behind them. Why can't I dispel that thing? He didn't know how, but he had to get free. He only saw one option. Drawing his kunai, he prepared to saw through his own leg. Lee, Guy Sensei, came a feminine cry. You're about to make another person sever one of their limbs for freedom. They finally released his leg. Turning to his savior, he began to thank her. He never got the chance, as he was stopped by a cold and arrogant voice. Who are you? He asked. Naruto Uzumaki. And you? I am Neji Hyuga. He gives off the same vibes as Uchiha's. My teammate is Tenten. This is my teammate Tenten. Thank you, Tenten, for saving me. Spoke, but I seem to be finishing, so I need to run. Wait, she called. This is private. This area is private. What are you doing here? I just wanted a spot to train, he answered. Did someone say training? He noticed that too, seeming to motion for him to say yes. And then Tenten was motioning him to say no. He said yes. Then let us train. The look-alike shouted as one. I shall make you into a youthful shinobi and continue my conquest for world youth. And what have I gotten myself into? The blonde asked. My friend spoke quietly. Youth. Training for Training for Naruto was hell. He wasn't able to keep up with Lee's speed, but he matched him in stamina. The others were very surprised to see it happen, especially when they found he was wearing those weights. Tete was able to help Naruto train his kenjutsu. She kept him an array of weapons so he would always keep on guard. He bonded pretty well with all but the Hyuga. Naruto couldn't stand his arrogance no more. Putting on a hedge and the blindfold, he overheard his team meeting. They were already in progress, most likely never noticing his absence. When he made himself known, well, he wished he had it. Naruto Baka, where have you been? The pink howler monkey screeched. You're late. Naruto would just ignored her, as he was too tired. Practicing with Guy was tough. What possessed me to a schedule more with them? Naruto, where have you been? Asked Kakashi. And why do you have a blindfold around your eyes? It's for training, the blonde answered. Not a complete lie. What kind of training? Asked the Uchiha. And if it's useful, I should be the one learning it, not you. Deciding he wasn't going to deal with it, he turned to his teacher. I can't believe he read that stuff in front of us. We're minors. What are we learning today? The blonde asked. He answered. His answer was predictable. Since you missed another mission, we decided to do some teamwork. Hey, where are you going? To train, the blonde stated, but before that, I can feel free. I feel the need for my oldest friend, ramen, and lots of it. Ichiraku ramen. Hey, old man, Tanky. Naruto called. Ayami-chan, Naruto needs his ramen. 15 bowls later, and he felt better. There was one thing, and that was making it difficult for him to enjoy the food to its fullest. Actually, three things. 3 people. Konohamaru, rocks aren't square, he stated, moving towards his next bowl of ramen. So, you saw through our disguise, the rock spoke. I expected nothing less from my rival. At the end of the sentence, the rock went up in smoke. There was a lot of coughing and complaining from the one inside. Udon, Konohamaru shouted, use too much powder. Hey, you wanted a big entrance. Upon countering Naruto-kun. Naruto-kun, who are these kids? Asked Toyama. Seeing an opportunity for their entrance, they began posing. I am Konohamaru, the future Hokage. I am Udon. I like math. I am Moagi. I'm the cutest girl in my class. And together, taking another pose, they spoke. We are the Konohamaru Corp. They wanted for some type of response, but they got clapping from Ayama, and Naruto already turned back to his ramen. That's so cute, isn't it, Naruto? Not after seeing it every time I see them, he stated. Boss, can you teach us something, please? Konohamaru, please. Sorry, but I have my own training, he stated. I see, Moagi. Pulling out the big guns, Konohamaru ordered. On command, Moagi was in front of Naruto, giving him the puppy eyes. He tried to resist, but they pulled him into... Look, they commanded him to obey. I am wearing a blindfold. How am I still affected? Fine. I'm sure those puppy eyes are some kind of jutsu. I guess I'll teach him what I learned. What will we learn? They asked. A jutsu. It's a secret skill. How to dodge. he stated. What? Udon asked. Drawing a kunai, he leaked out killer intent, and he let bloodthirsty aura fill the area. It was a small amount, but fresh to academy students, it was droning level. Dodged. The chase had begun. After running the kids back to class, much to their annoyance, he headed for his land. I think I'll surprise them with a page from Konohama's flashy entrance. As he arrived, he decided to use his new abilities. Dropping the jutsu, he let his real appearance out. The kunoichi sat in patience. Minako. As they waited for Naruto to appear, they had appeared for various reasons we won't go into. It didn't usually take this long since he was punctual. Out of nowhere, a reddish blonde-headed guy appeared in the forest. He stood there and the kunoichi took guard. This is private area, stated Hana. I know, he stated. Please leave, ordered Kurenai. No. Sorry about that. The kunoichi were ready to fight. They each took a position around the intruder, waiting for him to act. What do you want, uncle? Asked uncle. To meet some of the most powerful and beautiful kunoichi of Konoha, he answered. From there, it's anyone else's bet. Who would they be? Asked Yu-Gi-Oh, both upset at the compliment. No, tell me he's a pervert. I'm looking at them, he spoke. Uncle looked at the first opportunity to act. Drawing a kunai, she cut his cheek, allowing a bit of blood to flow. Compliments will get you everywhere, she stated, taking a lick at his blood. Wait a second, Genning. I shouldn't be surprised that you memorized my blood, Naruto stated. After the amount you drained from me. What is with the new look? They asked. And you were flirting. I'd like to answer all questions, Naruto stated. Say over dinner. Naruto, are you asking us on a date? Asked Kurenai. As in all four of us? Maybe. Realization fell into place. He was Naruto Uzumaki, a person of the village. Why would they even consider dating him? Sorry, he spoke. It was a foolish idea. Naruto, you aren't a fool, spoke Yu-Gi-Oh. Naruto, yes, I am. I am a no-name genin, he said, pointing to himself, and you four are elite kunin of the village. Pointing to the kunoichi. Naruto. To top it all off, I asked all four of you on a date, he ranted. That was a perverted thing to do. I don't want to be a pervert. Why would you want to date us? Asked Hana. You all have been nice to me. He stared. You are all amazing women. He continued. You are each skilled and proud, but not in the slightest arrogant. He thought for a moment. And my time with you has been the happiest of my life. They could see that he was really upset about this. He seemed to want to be in a genuine relationship with them, not just mild pervertedness. Then they shared a look. It was one of those looks women get when they somehow are having a conversation. You know, men, one of those. They nodded. their heads as if reaching an agreement. Naruto, you aren't a fool, stated Hana. Yes, I am, he countered. I'm a dem- demonically enhanced fool. Naruto, Yu-Gi-Oh snapped. You are not a fool. Do you know why? No. Because my mother told me to never kiss a fool, she shouted, grabbing Naruto by the back of his head, pulling him forward. Their lips locked, and Naruto felt absolute bliss. The world seemed to pause as he enjoyed the kiss. All too soon it came to an end. We will each expect a reinforced clone to pick us up by tomorrow by 8 to show us a wonderful night, stated Kurenai. Remember, Genin, we each have different tastes on what we believe is a perfect date, warned Anko. Dressed casually, he spoke. Until then, my Himes, gaining a blush from said Himes. Alright, so this is part 3, I believe. Thank you for listening or watching, and have a good day. Once again, please leave a comment on how I did.